welcome to Mindful Yoga. Today we'll be working on back strengthening exercises. So we're going to be starting on our hands and knees. So make your way onto hands and knees, placing your hands just below your shoulders and your knees just below your hips. If it's uncomfortable on either your wrists or your knees, feel free to place towels or blocks to pad them to make it more comfortable. And then tune into your natural breath. On your next inhalation, think about extending your breastbone forward and up as you extend your tailbone backward. And then as you exhale, you'll drop your tailbone and drop your head, rounding gently through the spine, but not pressing too hard through your hands. On your next inhale, you'll bring your head and tailbone up, gently curving your spine into a smile position. And then exhaling, dropping your head and your tailbone gently. Inhaling once more, bringing your head and tailbone up, and exhaling the head and tailbone back down. Let's repeat this for another 2 breath sequences. And on our next inhalation, we'll go back to just lengthening through the sternum and through the tailbone. And this time as we exhale, we're going to drop our hips backward towards our heels as far as is comfortable, and then rising back up onto hands and knees as we inhale and lengthening through the spine. So exhale, bending those knees as far as is comfortable, and inhaling back to a long, lengthened spine. At any point, you're welcome to go ahead and leave your hips towards your heels and then rest your head down. If your forehead does not come in contact with the mat, feel free to either stack your fists, stack your palms, or use an extra towel or block so that your forehead can rest naturally on the ground. Take a few easy breaths here. And then we'll return to our hands and knees position. Feel free to either repeat that sequence a few more times, otherwise we'll go ahead and make our way down onto our stomach, placing the elbows out to the sides, palms or fists stacked on top of each other, and either resting your cheek, or if that's uncomfortable, resting your forehead on your hands. And in this position, we'll just take a few easy breaths, letting our body sink into the floor. Feeling how our inhalation goes into our back body. If you've chosen to rest your cheek on your hands rather than your forehead, feel free to turn to the opposite cheek and take a few easy breaths there. And then we'll make our way onto our elbows. So we'll rest our forearms on the ground, parallel to one another, with the palms of our hands facing downward. Elbows should be right underneath your shoulders. And I'll have you bring your awareness into your pelvis. We want to try to square the face of the pelvis down into the ground. So all 3 points, the 2 hip bones and the pubic bone, should be equally in contact with the floor. and then gently pressing down through the tops of the feet to enliven your legs. Starting at the tailbone, we'll gradually feel as though we're lengthening through each vertebrae. So extending all the way from the tailbone, vertebrae by vertebrae, all the way up to the base of the neck and head. For an extra challenge in this position, you can enliven your arms as well by feeling as though you're pulling the mat underneath you. So gently pulling your elbows towards your hips without actually moving them to enliven your arms and your belly. Trying not to let this interfere with your natural breath pattern. And when you're ready, go ahead and let go of that pulling sensation and let your body slowly and gently back onto the floor by turning the elbows out to the sides and coming to rest with your hands at your sides this time, palms facing down and your forehead resting on the ground. Once again, we'll turn on our lower body by squaring up the face of the pelvis with the ground and pressing gently through the fronts of the lower legs and feet. Your kneecaps may come off the ground, and that's perfectly fine. On your next inhalation, we're going to go ahead and raise our shoulders, chest, and arms up off the ground as far as is comfortable. As we exhale, we're going to soften and not lower all the way back down, but just let off the pull slightly. Inhaling once more, raising up as far as you feel comfortable, and exhale and soften. Be sure to keep your neck long by extending your gaze down towards the mat rather than looking up in front of you. Exhale and soften. Inhale, rise. And this time as we exhale, we'll go ahead and lower all the way back down onto the mat. If you'd like, you can return to crocodile pose with your hands out to the sides and take a few easy breaths here before our next position. Once you're ready, we'll return our arms to our sides, palms facing down and our forehead resting on the ground. This time as we inhale, not only will we raise our chest, shoulders, and arms, but we're going to bring our legs up off the ground as well. As we exhale, we'll soften. Inhale, rise, just to the point that's comfortable for you. Exhale and soften. Inhale, rise. Exhale and soften. And once more, inhale, rise. And exhale all the way back down to the ground. Let's bring those arms up. Rest either your cheek or your forehead on the mat or on your hands. And take a few easy breaths. When you're ready, we'll go ahead and roll over onto our backs. And we'll do this by moving our whole body as a unit. So trying to get your arms either out in front of you or underneath you, and rolling shoulders and hips at the same time until we make our way onto our back. Once you're on your back, I'll have you bend your knees and rest your feet on the ground. Arms will be at your sides, facing your thighs. Feet should be hip-width apart, and knees, hips, and ankles should be in line with each other. On your next inhalation, we're going to squeeze the buttock muscles and push our hips up towards the ceiling. As we exhale, we'll lower back down. As we do this, keep in mind that we want a little pillow of air behind our neck. So try not to flatten your neck as you're doing this. So next inhalation, we'll raise the hips as far as is comfortable and exhale back down. Inhale, raise the hips, squeeze the buttocks, and exhale, lower. Again, inhale, raise the hips as far as is comfortable, making sure that your knees are neither coming together nor flaring apart as you're doing this motion. And exhale back down. At any point, once you inhale, feel free to give yourself a challenge by letting your hips remain in the air for as long as you feel comfortable, trying to create a nice straight line from your knees down to your shoulders. Making sure that this held position is not interfering with your natural breath. And when you're ready, go ahead and exhale back down to the starting position. Finally, we'll go ahead and bring our knees up to our chest on our inhalation, grabbing either behind the thighs or on the top of the shins. If this is either not possible for you or too uncomfortable, feel free to use a towel or a strap to grab your legs rather than with your hands. And you'll just bring them in toward your chest as far as you feel comfortable. Noticing as you inhale, your belly may press your legs gently away. And then as you exhale, seeing if you can give them just a slightly tighter hug into your chest. You may also try just a gentle side-to-side rock, giving your spine a bit of a massage. Keeping your breath steady and even. And then we'll bring ourselves back to center and relax our legs back down to the ground.